that time, income tax revenue was much lower.
Okay.
All other countries, income tax revenue is the highest.
Okay.
Other duties are less. But in India, it was the other way about. The indirect taxes contributed the maximum amount of revenue to the central government. Fighting anti-evasion, people who are evading taxes, particularly central excise duties or customs duties and things like that. The state went there and found that fellow had 7,000 kilos of gold. That was one case where we could directly link to Dawood Ibrahim. Then there was a break. Then I told him, more questions you ask, the more you will be punished. Somehow one Hindi paper published a small item about the judge being involved. In the earth they concealed huge quantities of hashish in Pakistani market. And when the haystack was removed, 763 kilos of high quality heroin was seized. Dawood wants somebody to be killed. You send this fellow will go and kill him.
Today we will talk about smuggling and also brief history of smuggling in India. With us we have Sri B.V. Kumar, DRI chief, and also he is renowned as super sleuth as described in a weekly cover magazine. Before getting into the discussion, let us know a little more about our guest Sri B.V. Kumar. Sri B.V. Kumar joined Indian Revenue Service in 1958 and also played a key positions in various roles like Director General of Revenue Intelligence, Director General of Narcotics Control Bureau, Director General of Economics Intelligence Bureau, etc. He was also one of the member of Central Boards of Excise and Customs. Over 35 years of his valuable time he has served for our country in working. During his tenure, he neutralized syndicates involved in organized economic crime. Now let's welcome Sri B.V. Kumar, the super sleuth. So let's dive deep into your career, which department you have worked, what is it all about, what this department represents. Let's dive deep into it, sir.
To start from the beginning, I appeared for the civil services examination, and after I got selected, and during the selection process, I particularly mentioned that I would prefer the police service. Due to some prejudice of one of the experts who was sitting in the UPSC, he gave me only 30% for the interview, but all others gave me 53%, which took me to fairly higher rank. And as a result of that, I joined the Customs and Excise Service, which are two separate services in 58. But in 59, it was merged. Then I found during my postings at different points of time, I was getting the type of postings where a lot of preventive work was there, including either anti-smuggling, anti-evasion, or that type of work where it involved catching of smugglers or fighting anti-evasion, people who are evading taxes, particularly central excise duties or customs duties and things like that. So I found that type of or the nature of work was fairly interesting, and at that point of time we didn't have much of a theoretical training in these subjects. So we have to learn on-the-job training, which was fairly good. For example, in the custom house, you have to sit in the docks, watch how the preventive officers clear the passengers, or when there's a rummaging of a ship to find out whether any contraband was concealed, how the operations are done. Like this, on-the-job training was much more, which compared to a theoretical training was far better. So that's how it was. At that time, we didn't have a formal academy. We had a training school which was not good enough. But on the job, we were trained in customs, excise, narcotics, all the three subjects in different parts of the country. So that gave us a fairly good, grounding in carrying out our responsibilities. Further, other thing that happened was in my posting in the Enforcement Directorate, I was asked to speak in one of the training academies in Madras, which was a branch of the main Customs Academy. I found there was no material at all. So I prepared a material training as to how investigation should be done, how intelligence should be gathered, and it became a standard reference document. So later on, after joining the board, after a series of promotions and other things, I insisted that we should create manuals for investigating officers so that it becomes easy for them to follow, sort of a rule book where or standard operating procedures, so that they have a guidance and other things. That's how the whole thing started.
So what is DRI?
Uh, DRI is the Directorate of Revenue Intelligence. That is the name of the organization. And I'll tell you how it started. 1953, it was called Central Revenue Intelligence Bureau, and there were only one assistant commissioner and two superintendents to cover the whole country, which was not a really a credible thing. And they were interested in the job of finding out and identifying corrupt officers. That was one. The second part was also about smuggling. I'm sure they were not up to the task, and they were supposed to directly report to the government, not to any other organization. It is like Mossad, the Israeli intelligence agency. When Ben Gurion was the Prime Minister of Israel, he called one of his trusted people and said, "You start an intelligence organization." That's how Mossad started with just 3 persons. And here also in India, we started with 3 persons. But over the years, it has grown into a fairly major organization, almost with about 1,500 people now. But over the years, it slowly increased in its coverage and operations. Earlier, up to 1985, before I joined the DRI, we were basically an intelligence organization where when intelligence was gathered, it used to be communicated to different field formations. We had customs preventive commercial raids at Bombay, at Chennai, at Delhi, and other border areas. And they were supposed to carry out the, to find out and act on the intelligence that was communicated by the DRI. Many times it used to be a little vague. A boat bringing gold from Dubai is landing on the west coast. The west coast is 63 kilometers without itself. There's another from Karnataka and other things. So it used to be a little vague, sometimes precise, but many times it used to be in a very general way. And it was not actionable. Then in 85, after I joined, we said when there is specific intelligence, we will ourselves investigate it from the DRI itself so that there is no leakage of information and there is no lethargy on the part of the field organizations. So we used to take upon ourselves, strike at the right place, and 100% the operations would be successful because there was no leakage, absolute dedication, and striking at the right time, and timing and all those things. That's how we developed, and from 85 to 87 when I was in charge, and we made massive seizures. And not only on the custom side, prevention of gold, prevention of drug trafficking, then anti-evasion also we did, though it was the task of a sister organization. Like that, many cases we were able to do because of direct involvement of the DRI. That was an advantage. But the field was sometimes unhappy that we were taking all the major credit. But they can also do, there was no ban that the field also should not do that. They were also doing, but ours used to supplement.
Okay. Outside the department, did you have any people who could give tip on certain aspects?
See, the DRI and so also other field preventive organizations, they depend upon 3 sources. One is the informers. We give reward up to 20% of the contraband that is seized, up to.
Okay.
Sometimes even 1% will come to a couple of lakhs. So, but depending upon the accuracy of the intelligence. For example, in the case of gold, you say gold attack such and such a building, there will be so much of gold concealed there. So there the percentage goes up because it is very specific intelligence, very actionable. Sometimes they give a hint saying so and so is involved. We found that he is carrying gold and probably concealing and working with such and such an organization. So we follow it up, develop the intelligence till it reaches a stage where you can strike. So that is the one source. The second is where you study and over a period of time, for example, you take a manifest. People are arriving at the airport from countries like Africa, some of the African countries. Sometimes they come from Dubai. So you go on studying them and you find the same people are coming almost every week, twice, thrice, in a month, again next month they are repeating. So you profile the passengers, identify them. When the next visit they are coming, then we can. catch them, and then we will be successful. I know one case, one of my assistant collectors who was in the DRI when I was posted, he studied the passenger manifesto of the Delhi airport and identified about 6 or 8 African women who were frequently coming. And next stage, when they were coming, when we knew the passenger manifesto, we went to the airport, got all of them and seized a lot of gold, and he was able to also trace how earlier visits they were doing and things. So that is another method. The third is we also have electronic, what you call, gathering of intelligence, where the persons do not know that we are monitoring their phone numbers and other things. Or many times not only the main persons, but with somebody very lower, but then he will be able to tell us where exactly what is happening and other things. So we follow it up, then to the next higher fellow we will know to whom he is parting. From that, so we will actually find out the network, and then we will be able to strike all of them. That's one. And one more source is interception of mail. What I used to do in Madras when I was posted there, as a officer of special duty of the DRI, my job was different, to do anti-corruption work against a particular political family there. But I was also doing intelligence. We had what's known as the Postal Research Bureau in Madras Custom House, which is manned by the Intelligence Bureau. So they do the deception of the letters, and for us they used to do work. So wherever there is a communications, then they used to tell us there is something suspicious. We used to follow up and then strike. And the other thing they do is, most of the smugglers communicate in what you call cipher. Cipher means in a code. For example, there will be a welfare letter which comes from Singapore to their relations in Kerala, and nothing will be there. In the corner there will be a small code will be there, the aerogram letter. For example, a code inspector is there, INSPECTOR, 9 alphabets. There is no repetition of the alphabet. Any other alphabet is 0. Suppose in Hawala, money has to come, which is to be paid by a local dealer, Hawala dealer, to the recipient. Instead of $1 in those days getting 30 rupees, he will give 40 rupees. That's how the Hawala operates. And so we decode them. So they change the code also frequently. So it will take us for some time to decipher the code. Once we decipher the code, then we are able to catch those people. So these are the various techniques we follow in trying to get the basic information to strike.
When people want to smuggle, they are smart enough that they could...
They are too smart.
Okay.
They are too smart. They try to overcome. Each time we learn something, they will start something new.
Okay.
For example, when we started breaking the cipher, they started using a Tamil couplet, which probably only very seasoned people with the Tamil literature they will be able to break. It took us for quite some time. With people with knowledge of Tamil, we were able to break after a couple of letters, not immediately.
Okay, how your family supported in your pre-joining stage, sir?
No, after joining, she was very happy, but then on the job, it was not a very happy situation, because even on the first anniversary, marriage anniversary, I had to go to hospital. I was posted in Bellary, and I couldn't come back home till about midnight. She made so many dishes and other things and cursed me after I came back. So that type of situations were there, and my job responsibilities also involved the continuous traveling to different parts of India and different parts of my posting. Particularly when I was in Bombay, I had to cover the entire coast from Kolak in Gujarat up to Bhatkal in Karnataka. So that involved a huge amount of traveling, covering about 63 minor ports. So that was a big responsibility. That involved a lot of touring. So many days I used to be away from home. So, but she was busy managing the children, and later on she was able to, she was academically highly qualified. So she took up teaching assignments while I was posted in Madras, while I was posted in Bombay. Then while in Delhi posting, she joined the All India Women's Conference. She was looking after as a secretary of the organization. She was also assisting the Delhi Women's There's an organization which looks after women, and I think she was vice president of that. So she kept herself busy. But the initial stages, it was probably a little difficult. She had to manage herself with the children, and later on, when the teaching started, then probably she was quite happy about it.
Okay. What inspired you to take up exams in those days, sir?
No, I was interested more in my academic profession. I was in the Dell School of Economics, and I was selected without interview because I stood first in my MA, and I also did a course in the Indian Statistical Institute of Calcutta. So when they called me for interview, I didn't go because there were so many other universities in Delhi. There is Delhi University, there's Meerut University, there's Agra University, then Punjab College University, and I found what is my big point in going all the way. I was in Andhra Pradesh at that time in Rajahmundry, to go all the way to Delhi to appear for interview. So I did not go, thinking that somebody nearby will be selected. But it so happened that they sent me the appointment letter without interview. So that was a sort of a blessing. Then while working in the Dell School of Economics, some senior positions came. I was a research assistant, and a senior research post came. And I wanted to apply. Then my professor told me, look, if you apply, the people who have joined earlier to you, they are not get selected because you have qualification both in economics and statistics. So that upset me a little bit. And I used to assist various research scholars there in analysis of data because I had experience in statistics. And Saturdays I'd sit and help them in the last chapter of their PhD thesis and other things. So one of them was a cabinet minister's son, Nityananda Kanimbo's son, one Kishan Kanimbo. He was doing his doctorate. So I was helping him on Saturday, Sunday in his thesis. So I told him, look, I wanted to appear, and this gentleman, professor, he is allowing me not to appear for the interview on this ground. And then he said, why are you having loyalty to the Dell School of Economics? You appear for the civil services and leave. At the time, maximum age that's permitted is 23 years. Beyond that, you can't appear. Now, after 35 years, people can appear. At that time, only 23.
You joined force when you were 24?
No, I joined when I was 23.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So, that was my last chance to appear. And nowadays, there is a lot of relaxation.
Yes.
And so I came and told the professor in charge of the agricultural economics section. There are various sections in the Dell School of Economics. So I told him, look, I intend to appear for the civil services examination. He said, no, you remain here only, you'll become a reader, you'll become professor and other things. I had kept 80 rupees. That was the fees to be paid for the civil services examination in those days. And no coaching facilities were there. Then I went to the Connaught Place, then purchased Chinese five-year plan, purchased Karl Marx Das Kapital and other communist literature and other things, and spent all the money. Then next day I told the professor, look, I am not appearing for the civil services examination. No, you appear. I didn't have the money. And we were not getting that big salaries in those days. And so there was one research scholar who was also from Andhra, one Mr. Reddy, who was doing a PhD in sales tax. So I requested him to give me money. He gave me 80 rupees, I paid the fees, and then I appeared. That was the last chance, and I got selected. That's how the story goes of my selection to the civil
How your preparations were like? How many hours you used to study? So nowadays students prefer studying for long hours, like 16 hours a day.
I had one advantage. All my notes which I prepared while studying for MA were with me. And they were all fairly good because subsequent students in the Smuggling University where I studied, they copied all my notes and it was being circulated by successive batches. So I had my notes. Then Ratan Tata Library was there within the Dell School of Economics, which is one of the best libraries. I used to study there, and that was enough for me to pass out the examination.
Okay. After joining to the force, in your ways, how this particular department is contributing to our nation, sir? In what way?
See, it's a very important wing of the Department of Revenue because we raise customs revenues on all imports. Then we also raise central excise duties from all the production from various factories and other things. And at that point of time, there was also duty on tobacco, which is an agricultural product. And fortunately, when Mr. Charan Singh was the Prime Minister, he abolished duty on such excise, which was a very difficult one to collect. And the main source of central revenues was from the customs and excise. At that time, income tax revenue was much lower. In all other countries, income tax revenue is the highest. Other duties are less. But in India, it was the other way about. The indirect taxes contributed the maximum amount of revenue to the central government. And then it is not shared with the state government. Customs revenue entirely goes to the central government. Central excise revenue is shared between the state and the center. And now GST revenue is similarly shared between the state and the center. So that's how the department contributes to central revenues, and it's a very important thing. The other aspect to look at is the prevention of leakage of revenue. That's where the DRI comes in. There is also Directorate of Anti-Evasion. Now it's called Directorate of GST Intelligence. So they do the prevention of leakage of revenue. That also contributes to the revenue. That's how the department functions.
Okay, if you could give a number, how big the number could be? Like how much percentage of the contribution made to the country?
No, it's almost in the central budget, almost apart from income tax has now overtaken excise, about roughly you can say 48 to 50% is comes from the indirect tax.
Okay. Sir, is this revenue like continuously will keep getting, or how is it?
No,
Depends on what factors?
No. In the case of customs and GST or earlier central excise or service tax, the collection of revenue is instant.
Okay.
The moment the goods are cleared, the tax has to be paid. Whereas in the case of income tax, it is later. For example, now this year I have to pay the income tax for the previous financial year. So that is corrected later, but one advantage is we are copied from the Americans.
Okay.
Advance tax.
Yes.
So advance tax is corrected on September 15th, December 15th and March 15th.
Okay.
So that to a major extent contributes to the direct tax revenues. That's what it is.
Okay. Yes, sir. So if you could describe your hierarchy of job. So first level was this, next this, next this. Can you just give a brief about that?
First 2 years we are called probationers. We are on the job training. And as part of the training, you not only visit various formations, on the job training you have. Then final stage of the training, you have to sit with the commissioner, whether Commissioner of Customs or Commissioner of GST now, earlier Commissioner of Central Excise, and dispose of the files as if you are the commissioner.
Okay.
Though your decision may be wrong, later on the commissioner, if your decision is right, he will sign, otherwise he will write the correct decision. You are not faulted for taking a incorrect decision, because you are still in training. You have to assume that you are the commissioner and take the decision. Like that, in different stages we have to do it. So that was a very good thing where you are forced to take a decision on a particular situation, which is very important.
Sir, did you had any physical kind of training? Physical?
No, on the job training is a physical training. For example, an inspector of central excise is an inspector of customs is there. 3 days you watch his work. The next 3 days you have to do the work as if you are the inspector.
Were you also given any arms?
Absolutely.
Oh.
You have to physically do the same job which the lowest authority do or the highest authority does.
Okay.
So that gives you the confidence. How, and later on when you assume charge, nobody can cheat you because you know their job. So that's an advantage. That's an advantage.
So you go through physical tests as
Physical
well as
yes.
the theoretical training
very
is also
important,
done.
very important.
How long that period was, sir?
That is 1 year in direct taxes and 1 year in customs.
Okay, no matter which.
And about 3 months in narcotics at that point of time.
Okay, no matter which department you choose, the training is like compulsory.
Yes, continuous.
Can you take any big names during your period whom you have like caught in red hand?
2, 3 cases I can mention. One was when I was in Ahmedabad, one of our superintendents, close to his house, he found there is some activity. It was a normal house, but the wall was about almost 12 feet high or something like that. Normally nobody puts a compound wall like a fort.
Yeah, so big.
Then he also found that one chap was regularly coming in a big jeep and parking in the compound and other things, and something suspicious. So one day, the occupant of the jeep, he came inside and kept it. So he rang me up in the evening around 6:30 when almost everybody left. So he rang up, said there's some suspicious activity. Then very few people had their telephones in those days. We didn't have mobile phones and other things. So I rang up one of our assistant commissioners, another 2-3 people. We went there and found that fellow had 7,000 kilos of gold, which he kept it under the bed, then lots of silver bricks, and then he had a big weapon and other things. He was one Qadar Ahmad Bhatti. I have written about that story in the book also. And he was a strong and steady person. He was a Pakistani national, operating under the guise of that he was a Indian. He had a driver. The driver's license, he removed that fellow's photo and put his photo to identify as if he is an Indian. He was the nephew of one of the Pakistan's biggest smuggler called one Mr. Shah, Haji Shah. That was Pakistan's biggest smuggler, it is his nephew. And this fellow was regularly getting the gold landed on Kutch coast, bringing it to Ahmedabad and disposing of through various Marwadi dealers and others. So he was caught. And once he was caught, and I think he was very tough fellow. We had to really give him a lot of third degree and I think still he was not breaking. Then we brought him to the office. After about 48 hours of grilling, and then he told the seizure led to breaking his whole gang, through which he was distributing the network and all that. Then he was convicted for 14 years under the Customs Act, another 14 years under the Gold Control Act. I think recently must have been released. So that was one of the very big cases. Another big case was when I was posted in Delhi in the DRI, we had information that in Calcutta, machines were being smuggled out. They were actually bogus machines, very strong, very heavy and other things. And one of our deputy directors, he caught out of one of the consignments in Kutch. Then a Sadaji driver drove it and brought it to Calcutta to be smuggled out. Then when the machine was opened, they were such thick plates and all. It was opened, then we found packets of hashish, very high quality hashish, concealed between the plates. And then this driver confessed that he brought it from Delhi. So I told the deputy director to put him in the flight and bring him to Delhi straight. He was brought to Delhi and then we asked him from where you picked up. He said, sir, I don't know the address, I can take you there. So with a large force, we took him there to a farmhouse. By the time we raided, already I don't know how the occupants received it. They left everything there and ran away. But we could see it did take a lot of documents, but to the shipping history which they were exporting. A lot of machinery also was lying there. And those machinery, when we got the welders who split open the machines, we got a lot of machines. Apart from there was the outhouse, it was a big farmhouse. In the earth they concealed huge quantities of hashish in Pakistani market, huge like army, ammunition boxes, kept like this.
So in the same place where you went for
place, huge quantity of hashish was almost 1 or 2 tons of hashish received. Then that fellow was underground, we couldn't get him. Then we were still monitoring what was happening and other things. The smuggler's brother was trying to contact one of the district judges because we filed a complaint against the judge, against the possible smuggler who did this and that. And that day what happened, we had information because we were monitoring that judge's phone also. And then we found out the judge came to meet in Ambassador Hotel, which is very close to Pandara Park. And so there he was to meet in that hotel the smuggler's brother. So we kept one lady officer and one of our other priority officer to sit as if they are a couple waiting at the reception. And this fellow comes and asks the receptionist whether so-and-so will come. And then the receptionist, nobody has come yet. And then I was waiting in the car at the outer. Because we had very few staff. That was a Sunday on the top of it. Myself, my security, one armed guard was with me, given by Delhi police. And another couple of 2-3 officers, we kept them opposite. And then this fellow came and spoke. The judge got into that fellow's car. And judge he's one of those protected judges because he was trying very important cases. So he sent away all his armed guard security, who in a jeep, he, the brother and the brother's son, they got into a car. And they came there to the outgate. Then I was at the outgate in my car. Unfortunately, my hand fell on the horn. That fellow got alerted. Instead of going towards the south where his brother was staying, he went towards Connaught Place. So we followed him. The other chaps, they could not follow. I had only one deputy with me, myself and my armed guard. That's all. At Connaught Place, then we followed, changed and other things. The judge got down at a Regal cinema near the Connaught Place. Then he mingled with the, what's called the crowd. At 6 p.m. the cinema left, Regal cinema. And he disappeared. Then we were wondering how and where he disappeared. Then there's a next to Regal cinema, there's a restaurant. So we had some idea whether he could be there. So we went and asked the ghost come there. Everybody came. He said, it's a top floor. And we went to the top floor. This judge was sitting and having a drink with the owner of the restaurant. Then we told the judge, you are under arrest, you come with us. So we picked him up.
Immediately you could take the action as well.
Why not? He's abetting a crime.
Okay.
We took him straight to the DRI office, which is 7 floors. It's a drum-shaped building in Indraprastha.
So usually when you have to arrest a big personality like judge and all, you have to have some.
They are scared. They are not scared.
Okay. So
because he is guilty.
Your department will have full control.
A guilty person is always scared.
Okay.
Morally, he is on a weak wicket. Morally, we are in a strong wicket.
Correct.
That's it. That makes a difference. It's not the physical might, but your moral right and your intellectual strength.
Okay.
That is what is important. Then your physical strength also counts, but your mental strength is very important, and you have to rise to the occasion. So this man meekly followed. We took him up, and that day lift was not working, making drive all the 7 floors. We also caught hold of the brother of the smuggler and his son, and they were in another room interrogating. And this fellow judge, we kept him in my room, and we were interrogating. Then finally we told the judge, you will not go home unless you tell this fellow that he must reveal where his brother, the main chap who was the organizer of smuggling, he's located. Then he called that man, he told him, Baba, you please tell where your brother is hiding, otherwise they are arresting me, they will not allow me to go home. So he finally revealed where his brother was staying, and then we sent one assistant commissioner and along with staff. He was sitting and having a drink with the 2 of the women in one of the places. So we caught him. Initially he said he refused to. Then the assistant collector is one of our Karnataka boys, a very soft and very mild person. I said, you tie him with ropes and bring him, that's all. So he was brought. And then we told the judge, please tell your wife that you will be sent home. And then the judge was released and this chap was arrested. Both of them were put under coffee poster. There's also another act called the Spit NDPS Act, Prevention of Illicit Traffic in Narcotic Drugs Act. Under that we arrested him and put him in this. Then the judge wanted that his name should not come out, so we did not give any press release. Somehow one Hindi paper published a small item about the judge being involved. And then what happened, the Chief Justice of Delhi High Court, one Mr. Chawla, a very enlightened person, he rang me. I was in a place in one of the best houses in Delhi, and he was also close by. He rang me up and said, can you come and see me? I said, yes. So I went to his house. So look, I read this paper, who is the judge and what is the story? Then I told him the whole story, but I can't give you in writing unless I get clearance from the government. Then he said, and I gave him unofficially a copy of my report which I sent to the department, to the finance secretary and to him to the finance minister. Then it was put up to the prime minister, that part I didn't know. And then the judge said, look, I want this judge to be suspended. Can you give me officially a copy of the report? I said, no. Kindly write to the ministry, then it will be given to you. There's no difficulty. Unofficially I'll give you. Then he wrote to the ministry, and the prime minister sent it to Mr. Ashok Sen, who was the law minister. And he kept it. He has not taken any action because the other judge was involved. And he appears before all judges. Ashok Sen was one of the senior-most lawyers. And he was a law minister. And then anyway, the report reached the Chief Justice of Delhi. And then he held a conference of 27 judges of the Delhi High Court. Then after giving them a high tea, he slowly disclosed this is what has happened. One Mr. His name was Vasan, the judge's name. He said, so and so has done this, so we have to suspend him. And imagine, full court of 27 judges did not have power to suspend a district judge.
That is a protection given to the judiciary so that they will be independent, act without fear or favor. And then he sends it to the Lieutenant Governor suspended. Then they appointed another High Court judge to do the trial of this judge. And then he appointed one lawyer, and that lawyer called me for cross-examination. Went on asking question after question and asking. Till afternoon, about 300 questions he asked me. Then there was a break. Then I told him, more questions you ask, the more you will be punished. Then he said, sir, I am doing it freely, not even paying me my fees. So then again a resolution was passed. It was sent to the Lieutenant Governor. Then he was dismissed from service. So this is how the smugglers also try to influence the judiciary sometimes by tempting them with a lot of money. For granting a bail, 35 lakhs was offered to the judge. So that is the type of money power they have.
Sir, how long the trial went? Basically, in other cases, it will take.
So it went off very fast. It didn't take much time because of the Chief Justice.
Okay.
He took so much of positive interest. Normally, they don't take that advantage. And he was a very conscious person.
Okay.
And very bold also. That's how he did it.
So, like this, many officers can also involve along with the smugglers.
Absolutely. There are a lot of black sheep in the department.
Okay.
They do compromise. And we have to guard against them. We have to guard against them. So, till the final moment, the intelligence is not leaked except for a very few when the operation is done.
Sir, if any localites belonging to a place, if they want to give any information regarding smuggling happening, what kind of protection the localites might get from the department?
Their information is kept very secret.
Okay.
See, how it is done is, when an informer gives an information, it is recorded.
Okay.
Because he has to get a reward. It is recorded and he will not sign. He will put a thumb impression and it's put in a sealed cover. Outside, there will be a letter which he gives to the next higher authority saying, I have recorded the information. According to the information, so much of gold or other contraband is supposed to land at such and such a minor port or along the coast. Okay. Then when it becomes successful, then the senior-most officer, the Commissioner of Customs, in his presence that is open and the informant is called, and the officer who recorded the information has to identify, then the reward is paid.
Okay, his name is kept as secret
Not
until
even
the
that,
operation
it is
is done.
protected by law.
Protected by
The
law.
Indian Evidence Act, now which is Bharatiya that name. So there also information is not protected.
Okay.
Informer's identity is protected.
Okay.
That is how it is.
Okay.
So otherwise he will be killed.
Yeah, exactly.
There are so many cases where they have been killed, particularly Kasarpur. A couple of people were killed who gave us the information. And this is one of the sort of dangers for an informer.
Sir, you can talk about any adventurous case which you had.
You should not use the word adventure because that's not a correct word. It's a responsibility.
Yeah, it comes with responsibility.
And I can also tell one of the interviews where I appeared, one very handsome officer, he was in the interview, he was asked, why did you select the police service? He said, I want an adventurous life.
Okay.
He said, you can be a dacoit in Chambal Valley. You were sent home, that's all.
Okay.
So, see, it's a job's responsibility. It's challenging. I mean, you can say that word.
Yeah, very challenging.
Now, I will mention one of the largest seizures of narcotics which happened when I was DG Revenue Intelligence. See, we received intelligence that on the Gujarat-Maharashtra border, there is one village called Talasar, if I remember the name correctly. There we received information in a farm under the haystack, huge quantity of drugs have been concealed. So one of our deputy directors, one Mr. Karkad, he was based in Bombay. He received the information. He took a number of officers and proceeded there. I also came from Delhi. And when the haystack was removed, 763 kilos of high quality heroin was seized, apart from 4 tons of hashish and mandrax and other things. That was, for that year, largest seizure of narcotic drugs. So the world record. Later on, big seizures were made, and I think that year. And then further investigation finally led to one Muhammad Dosa, who was ultimately arrested. He died in jail after he was arrested and put in Bombay. And he was working for Dawood Ibrahim. That is led to Dawood Ibrahim. That was one case where we could directly link to Dawood Ibrahim. Till then, when we were writing to the US Customs and then the Drug Enforcement Administration of USA, so also to the National Criminal Intelligence Agency of UK, they were not putting Dawood Ibrahim under the red alert,
Okay.
the Interpol red alert. They said no, he's only a smuggler of gold or another contraband, which is not an offense in their countries because they are freely exportable. After this case, when we reported, then they put him under red alert. Then he had to shift from Dubai to Pakistan,
Okay.
Karachi. And also we had an agreement, entered into an agreement with what you call the United Arab Emirates government, where they said they will give all evidence against any person who is evading, who is smuggling contraband from Dubai or any of the Emirates. And so that agreement helped a lot from people not doing smuggling from Dubai or Arab Emirates to United Arab Emirates to India. That was one good thing that happened. This was one of the biggest cases which finally led to Dawood Ibrahim.
Okay. So these many tons of drugs, what you are recovering, no, can't we make use of it because it is so expensive and
No, the heroin you cannot use it. But if it is seized opium, opium can be reused because see, opium is a sort of a mother drug which nature produces. For example, there are so many fractions of opium you can use. For example, one of them is, I think, Avin or something it's called. That is used for treating overdose of heroin or overdose of any of the drugs. So there are some good qualities also.
Okay.
Then you make this thing, cough syrup out of codeine. Codeine is a derivative of opium. Now codeine is banned now in cough syrups because codeine phosphate, which is put in cough syrups, in Burma it was being smuggled to Burma, where outside the schools they were selling to the children cough syrup and all. So that became, so Burmese government requested us, so we banned the sale of cough syrup in the border.
Okay.
That is in India also our people were abusing it. So now present day cough syrup does not contain codeine, but that's one of the good properties.
Okay.
Then you also get morphine, which is again a derivative of opium. Morphine is used for cancer patients.
Yes.
When they suffer an extreme pain, then in the final stages they give morphine injection so that it. So also in the army, when somebody is hit in the legs or somewhere, or a sharpshell comes and hits,
Yes.
then he is suffering from pain. Then one of the doctors who is present on the field or one of the soldiers will give him immediately a morphine injection, so that he can bear the pain. So a lot of good users are there if opium is used,
Okay.
but not heroin.
Okay.
Heroin we destroy it. But any other narcotic drugs, they have a lot of good use. And we also export opium.
Okay.
Opium is purchased by USA, opium is purchased by Switzerland, opium is purchased by Japan. They produce pharmaceutical drugs.
Okay.
So a lot of good use is there. So we have two opium factories. One is in Nimach and another is in Ghaziabad.
Okay.
So not Ghaziabad, in UP. So from there export took place.
Okay. So most of the smuggling happens within the country or outside of the country?
Both ways.
Both the ways.
Yeah. For example, inward smuggling takes place depending upon what demand is there for what product. A smuggler doesn't have a preference that you should smuggle only gold, you should smuggle only diamonds and things like that.
Okay.
It depends on the comparative price.
Okay.
If there is a premium for a product which is in India,
Okay.
then he will smuggle that product.
Okay.
For example, when I joined the service, Hawala chappals Hawaii chappals were not being made in India by Bata.
Yes.
So I found from Singapore, two ships used to come, SS State of Madras and State of Rajala. Each passenger will bring 20 Hawaii chappals,
Okay.
30 Hawaii chappals, like this to be sold in India. Then once Bata started, then they stopped it.
Okay.
Then other products started coming, and some, particularly gold.
Okay.
Then electronics we were short of it. So from Singapore, electronics used to come. Tape recorders initially, then video recorders, VCRs used to go. Later on, TV sets started coming.
Okay.
Then once we started assembling them here, and the technology changed, VCR stopped.
Okay.
Then technology is changed, and the TVs, color TV, then smart TVs all. Then they started manufacturing, then it stopped. So that's how, depending upon availability and the premium that is available,
Okay.
it is done. Outward smuggling, for example, red sanders are there.
Okay.
Near Kalahasti and Tirupati, in some of the hills, red sandals are produced. Pushpa
Okay.
movie you would have seen.
Pushpa.
There, the red sandals are cut by tribals,
Yes.
and the real uh, smugglers are based in Chennai.
Mm-hmm.
And these people enjoy the poor tribals. They cut these things, get it smuggled out, comes to Madras harbor, goes to Malaysia, from there to Japan. In Japan,
Okay.
there's a lot of demand for this red sandals. We call it as red chandan. In Telugu, dolls are made out of this. One boy and one girl,
Yes.
fruit dolls. It has some medicinal properties also. But in
Okay.
Japan, there's so much of demand for this red sandal. Because I don't know
Okay.
for what purpose they use and things like that. So that is one item. Then antiques. For
Okay.
example, our idols from unused temples or some good temples, idols are stolen and they are exported out. Antiques are exported.
Okay.
Paintings are exported. These are various things which has a demand outside the country. Then diamond smuggling into India and outward smuggling also takes place. What they call as round tripping takes place. Diamonds, they comes from Hong Kong.
Okay.
They say it is crude diamonds. The price is very low. It comes here. This fellow shows export of finished diamonds. He doesn't show anything. He carries it, again comes back. Diamonds is a small this thing. You can put in the pockets and then they smuggled out. Then they show import of finished diamonds.
Okay.
That's how the round tripping takes place. That's another product which is inward smuggling, outward smuggling takes place.
Sir, what impact happens to our country when we buy some smuggled goods? Any customers? What impact it creates to our government or?
See, our foreign exchange is earned only by exports. It's a limited amount that is available. Now we are in a fairly comfortable position, but earlier, when Mr. Manmohan Singh took place, we had only 1 week's foreign exchange available. The
Okay.
country was bankrupt. No letter of credit of India from any bank, including State Bank of India, was accepted outside the country.
Okay.
So, in such a situation, it's the gold which is sold and then we get the foreign exchange. So what limited foreign exchange which we have should be used for importation of capital goods, which will generate wealth here.
Yes.
You produce goods out of it. Instead, this is used for goods of conspicuous consumption, which have no use except you purchase gold. What happens? You put an ornament. Ultimately, you don't even wear. You put it in the locker.
Yes.
So it's a waste of precious foreign exchange, which can be used for generation of wealth by importing capital goods, which employs people, which produces wealth and other things. So it's a waste of foreign exchange by purchasing smuggled goods and other things.
Okay.
So there should be a movement actually to discourage people to import or purchase these goods of conspicuous inspection.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Sir, what about organ smuggling?
Yeah, it happens, but not so much from our country, but in other countries happening. I have some data on that, which I can give you.
Yeah.
But that is a world data.
Okay. Yeah.
For example, organ smuggling, the human trafficking is 150.2 billion, and the organ trafficking is 814 million to 1.7 billion.
Oh my God.
That is the world figures.
Okay.
And probably a lot of it goes from poor countries. That is, and India also it happens. People who are wanting a kidney, there are people doctors who stealthily remove the kidney and give to patients who deserve it and things like that. So that is there in India, but probably in limited scale. It is legalized, provided a doctor certifies that a person needs a replacement organ.
Okay. Your department can also look over all these aspects?
Not so much. They are not concentrated on this aspect much.
Okay.
But we have not noticed organ trafficking outside the country.
Okay.
We have not noticed that.
Okay. If any case is unsolved in your department, then where it goes, sir?
Well, it is kept under wraps for some time till you get further intelligence on that. That information is not wasted.
Okay.
It's kept and further watch is kept. So a time comes when probably it may surface and that particular person becomes bold and he tries to do more and more of smuggling. Then that person becomes prompt and then probably he'll get caught.
Apart from drugs, human trafficking, gold, what else? Electronic gadgets, what else can be like smuggled? Any other things?
Drugs is one thing which you already mentioned.
Yeah.
Arms smuggling.
Okay, yeah.
Arms smuggling takes place through the same drug trafficker.
Okay.
We noticed on the Amritsar border with
Mm-hmm.
Pakistan, he brings drugs, he also brings arms.
Okay.
So arms are meant for the terrorists and other things. That's how it comes. To Jammu and Kashmir, arms smuggling takes place. Drugs come where nowadays to drones it's being dropped.
Mm-hmm.
All this happens. So arms smuggling is one thing that is happening.
Okay. When you seize it, we use it arms for our
We give it
soldiers.
to the either to the police if it is small arms. Otherwise, sophisticated weapons are given to the army.
Okay. Anything else is like smuggled?
No, I mentioned to you there's no preference for a smuggler. He say wherever the profit is there, and that too his profit is equal to greed.
Okay. It can be small to big also.
Yeah, it depends on the percentage of profit.
Okay.
If the percentage should be very high. If it is marginal profit, he can do business. But one thing that has happened is after PV Narasimha Rao liberalized the import regime, then people have the what you call the desire to smuggle sophisticated goods have gone, because when you purchase something here, you get warranty advantage.
Yes.
Suppose you bring the goods from outside, nobody will give any warranty or give free service for them. So that has helped a lot.
Yeah. So can we even consider first copy, second copy? That is also as a
Yes.
smuggled goods.
And Chinese goods particularly.
Oh, yeah.
In China, there is not only duplicates, but duplicate of duplicates. So
Right.
in China that happened. In India not yet. India not yet, except fake pharmaceutical drugs. That is prevalent in particularly in this place, Calcutta.
Okay.
Now I don't know how the situation. At one stage, Calcutta was famous for fake drugs. Another thing that is happening is whenever a pharmaceutical factory is running in losses, they shift to manufacture of drugs.
Okay.
That is one of the things we found in a number of cases, which some of them I mentioned in my book.
Yeah.
Number of factories have shifted to manufacture of drugs for being smuggled to Africa because their factory is running in losses for producing legal drugs.
Okay.
That is another development that has taken place.
Do we even have fake currency in our country?
It happened in the past, but I don't know whether it's being done in the country. One old, I don't know, you were not born in those times.
Yeah.
There was Coimbatore 2 rupee currency notes.
Okay.
One police sub-inspector, he printed 2 rupee notes. In those days, 2 rupees was a big amount.
Okay.
So he printed 2 rupee notes and distributed through big industries. I mean, who had to pay factory wages every week and other things. That's how he distributed through cinema halls, like that.
Okay.
And finally, he was caught after a lot of currency came into circulation.
Okay.
That was one major case, but probably there could be cases.
Okay.
There could be cases, but very minor. Only Telgi case, if you remember.
Okay.
This Telgi was very clever. What he did was machinery which was outlived its life. He purchased the machinery from the mint in auction. Second thing he did was legal paper which was purchased by the mint. He smuggled it out, got it. So he printed the stamp paper. Whereas if you print a 500 rupee note, then you don't get much. Here you can put 1000 rupee stamp paper, 500 rupee or 2000 rupee stamp paper, and that became sort of a legal currency. And he involved one commissioner of police of Bombay who was later on suspended and probably charge sheeted. And that fellow was also involved to give protection for this Telgi, for this. And ultimately, what happened was Jaswant Singh was the finance minister. People did documentation based upon this Telgi's documents. He legalized it. Because paper is genuine, printing is genuine. Only thing is this fellow made the money. Ultimately, he died in jail.
Okay.
So have you faced any political or business pressure during your period?
Yeah. Only once I had a major case of political pressure. Normally, when a DRI books a case, no person tries to interfere in other things. One Sam Biryani, he was a known drug smuggler and other things. When we caught him in Delhi, he told some cabinet ministers will immediately ring him. No cabinet minister ever rang up. Similarly, one British Airways hostess, an Indian girl, and she was caught with 35 lakhs of Indian currency being smuggled out. She was caught, and she also mentioned some cabinet ministers will end up, nobody will end up. There was one case where Kalpana Roy, member of parliament from Rajya Sabha from I think Ghazipur, I'm sorry, I said Ghaziabad, Ghazipur in UP. He came and met me in Bombay when he was only a member of parliament. And then he was introduced to me by a Supreme Court advocate. So while talking, he suddenly asked, give me 50,000 rupees. I said, I don't have any such
For
money.
what purpose he asked?
Just like that. Suddenly,
Okay, you were already an officer, just he asked.
I was
Okay.
Commissioner of Customs there, and I offered him because he was a member of parliament. I offered him a cup of tea.
Yeah.
And suddenly he asked, give me 50,000 rupees. I said, so from where you want me to give? I said, I don't collect any such money.
Okay.
That was over. Then he became later Minister for Food in the cabinet. And I was, by that time, elevated as a member of the Board of Excise and Customs. He rings up on restricted automatic exchange telephone, or a REX number we call it. And he said, I am Kalpana Rai. One of my friends is sitting before me. He's imported prime copper tubes and other things in Calcutta that has been seized by your Deputy Director DRI at Calcutta. So he wants it to be released. I said, no, it cannot be imported. It has to be imported only by MMTC. It's a canalized rider.
Okay.
And then he said, no, in Bombay it was imported. I said, if it was imported in Bombay, then I will permit this to be imported here. I will check with Bombay. The Bombay Customs House Commissioner was on mission. I rang him up. I said, have you permitted importation of prime copper? He said, no. What came in Bombay Customs House was copper scrap, which was compressed into bricks.
Okay.
And I said, send photographs of it immediately. So he sent through, we have an escort officer who flies from Bombay. So he brought the photographs, and I saw the photographs, it was all scrap. So I rang up the minister and told him, what has been imported is scrap. So that is different, not prime copper. And then I said, this could be converted into scrap and released. I said, no.
The prime copper should be converted
tubes,
into a...
he said, which has a lot of premium in the country. I said, no, it will not be done. And why should we do prime copper into scrap and we will not do that.
Yes.
And you don't think we scrap some items and then release. I said, no, sorry, I will not tell you. Then he became silent. And the person who was sitting opposite to him was one Vidwania, who is the biggest Hawala racketeer of India. And he was bringing pressure on the minister, probably trying to please him and other things. Then I was silent, he was silent, and then I disconnected the phone. Then he rang me up on the phone, and then he said, you have insulted me. I said, you are silent, so I disconnected the phone. He said, no, you are not helping my friend. I said, no, sorry, it cannot be done. And then he was a little angry and other things, and nothing happened. So I recorded a full note of what happened.
Okay.
Whatever was transcribed,
Yes.
verbatim, I recorded a note, put it up to the Revenue Secretary, Finance Secretary, and the Finance Minister.
Okay.
And Finance Minister was Mr. Chauhan. And he was a very strict person and rule-minded and other things. And then he wrote, you did the right thing. And that was the end of that chapter.
Okay, nothing happened to that minister.
Nothing. That Didwania later on got into so much of other troubles.
Okay.
But nothing happened
Okay.
to the minister. The minister was later on, he was removed from the cabinet later. He was not a very emphatic person. I mean, a paper, lightweight sort of member of parliament.
So did you receive any life threats?
Only once it happened. He was Alamzeh, who was working actually initially for Dawood Ibrahim. And he fell out with Dawood Ibrahim because he used to do all the supari killings. If Dawood wants somebody to be killed, he will send this fellow will go and kill him. And he will get a small amount, 1 lakh or something. Dawood would collect probably 5 lakhs or 10 lakhs for doing that operation.
Okay.
So he said, I am doing the dirty job and you are taking all the money, give me the proper share. Then there was a difference between them. This fellow is a Pathan, that fellow is a local Muslim from Konkan area. So they fell out and there was a constant battle. There was killings between the Pathan gang and Dawood's. In the court proceedings were there, shooting used to happen.
Okay.
Each gang killing the others. So this job later on became sort of against me. And we got him at Palanpur, which is the border between Gujarat and Rajasthan. We caught him there, and then while interrogating and other things, he was telling that he does 4 times namaz.
Okay.
He said, normal Muslim do. I said, when do you do the 4th time? I said, midnight I do the namaz. Then I said, why do you kill people? We used to kill a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's aadat ho gaya sab.
Okay.
It became a habit for me to kill people. So then afterwards we had to detain him and other things. Then he sent me a letter saying that I will kill you and other things. Then one Mr. Writer, P.N. Writer, who was the DG of police, he gave me 4 commanders to keep guard and other things. Then this chap, while doing one of the operations, he came to Surat. There was one RC sub-inspector. He did not identify this fellow. By mistake, he shot him dead.
Okay.
So that was the end of it. Then I surrendered my commando. That was the only threat I had. Otherwise, I used to carry my weapon all the time, so I never had any threat.
So do you have any regrets?
No,
No regrets.
I enjoyed every part of my job and no regrets because I was able to get various types of postings, various types of visits to different countries as part of my job responsibility. I visited Pakistan about 5 times, USA 2-3 times for their bicentennial anniversary, this Customs Cooperation World Customs Organization meetings. Visited Europe many times for various investigations, including Bofar's investigation was interesting to me, Director CBI, myself, and one Director. But I did the report, complete report. I did. And there at the end of the report I wrote the so-called 60 crores which was supposed to be received by an Indian, had not been received by any Indian, because I recorded the statements of Swedish Undersecretary in charge of armaments, and their central bank is called Svenska. And there I recorded their statement. They said no money was paid to the Indian, either with an Indian passport or with a foreign passport or of an Indian nationality or Indian origin. And then we found out, I went to Switzerland, and their Swiss Banking Corporation, they said it's an offense to give any statements because secrecy laws protect us. And there was one AE services, one Major Wilson was in charge. He was the main broker who arranged this deal between Bofors and Government of India. So his office was there in Switzerland. They also were refusing to give information, but then their representative, he rang up Major Wilson, who was in UK at that time. Major Wilson said, you come here, I will give you the statement. So I went to UK, went to his farm, which was outskirts of London, had a huge estate. He was in the Indian Army in Darjeeling area. So his entire house, interior decor was all Darjeeling only. So he mentioned, saying that we worked for 10 years to get this order, and what is wrong if we get a commission? But I asked him, I said, did you give anything, a part of it? He said, no, we are not giving to anybody, but we worked for 10 years to get this order, and we got it, for which we received a normal commission on that. So then he gave that statement. Then some 2 ladies in Panama, they received some money from Swiss Bank Corporation. So one of the DIGs with me, police chief, he went to Panama, he recorded their statement. He get only monthly, we get some allowance, but otherwise we are not concerned. Some company was named after them, and they were getting only this allowance, but they also did not. But one hint this fellow gave, Major Wilson, that his daughter and King of Jordan's present wife, American wife, they were classmates. And he vaguely hinted that King of Jordan at that time, I think it was Abdullah, he gave a Mercedes Jeep to Rajiv Gandhi, which he used for elections.
So Rajiv Gandhi.
First term. That was the only thing that came out which was not part of the record. But I found that really no Indian got that 60 crores.
What kind of international supports you get for the department?
No, when we do overseas investigations, then we get a lot of cooperation from the Drug Enforcement Agency. Then RCMP are particularly helpful. Because in turn we also help them. They help a lot. Then Hong Kong Customs, they give certified documents. Whenever there is a import fraud and nothing, particularly under invoicing and others, they give. Japanese police, they gave me a lot of help. Whenever there is under invoicing, on Kapil Mehra case we did, entirely based upon the evidence, documentary evidence given by the Japanese police, which I went personally, investigated the case, got all the documents from Japan, which were used against Kapil Mehra, who was owning orchid shipments. Finally, he surrendered and he paid 1 crore duty and penalty and wrote a letter to the Prime Minister, Rajiv Gandhi, saying, I have done this mistake, I am ready to pay 1 crore. Because penalties and duty and other things. He paid, and then probably he was not prosecuted. They asked me whether prosecution can be dropped. I said, I am not out to drop. Then I said, only law ministry can. Law ministry said, we can't do it. And ultimately, Prime Minister granted pardon and was exonerated from prosecution, but he paid all the duties and penalties.
Okay. Sir, any particular advancement happened in your department during a political leader's period? Any such you remember?
Advancement means like what?
In your department, some extra powers or upliftment of your department?
No, what happened was, one Minister of State for Expenditure was there, Mr. Gadvi.
Okay.
He was Minister of State for Expenditure, and I had good equation with him because he comes from
Yes.
Ahmedabad, and I was posted as Commissioner of Customs in the job. He used to come and meet me. So he became Minister of Expenditure. I wanted the expansion of the border,
Okay.
Pakistan border in Punjab sector, Pakistan border with Rajasthan, then Indo-Nepal border and Indo-Burma border. We didn't have staff posted in all these places. The expenditure secretary was one Mr. Krishnan, he sabotaged. He said, no, we cannot grant any staff, it will involve a lot of public respect. Then I went to Mr. Gadvi because of my personal equation. I told him, sir, I want 1,000 people to man these 4 commissioners and the subordinate staff.
Okay.
Then he called this Krishnan. Then he asked him, have you ever visited the border? He said, no. I said, how much of smuggling takes place at my border? I belong to Palanpur, right, the border. So much of smuggling takes place, and you have not posted any people there. I am sanctioning the sanction. And I was able to get 1,000 people sanctioned for all the border posts on that.
Okay.
That was one good thing that happened during my time.
So, what suggestion you give for the youths?
Now, I wrote this book basically to inspire the present generation officers. The second part of the book, which is done in the second edition, it will help the present day officers to follow legal standard operating procedures for overseas investigation as well as domestic investigation. If they follow that, judicial scrutiny will be helpful so that no case will fall.
Okay.
So I hope the book will be read by the present generation officers.
What do you do nowadays, sir, as your retired man?
Do write
Day-to-day activities.
a lot of articles I wrote on drug smuggling. I write on taxation also. And I write books
Okay.
which Pulyani and Pulyani publishers or other publishers do.
Okay. How is your life now?
Absolutely peaceful.
Alright, sir. Thank you so much.
Nobody has threatened me.
Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank you. Thanks for the nice interview that you conducted and very professionally.
Okay, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching us. Thank you for your valuable time too. For such intellectual conversations, please do watch us going further and support us. Please do like and subscribe us.